there's one absolute freak I love from a horror movie, it's the Trickster. Welcome back, ghouls and gals. Today we are concluding our sci-fi horror movie week with an absolute gem, Brainscan. This is one of my favorites. There was actually a recommendation last month in the comments for a movie review for this movie, so if that was you, thank you. This is, I think, still a total underrated gem. If for some reason you have not seen Brainscan, I'm not going to fully spoil this one because I think this one it's just such a special movie. It's this kind of game meets reality, Black Mirror style, before Black Mirror done correctly. So let's talk about Brainscan today from 1994. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give this a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out all of my links down below if you'd like to see any more of me or support the channel any further. Like I said, this movie is an absolute gem, especially if you like your horror with a little video game association. From 1994, directed by John Flynn, a lonely teenager, a very young Eddie Furlong, obsessed with horror movies, discovers a mysterious computer game that uses hypnosis to custom tailor the game into the most terrifying game imaginable. When he emerges from his hypnotic trance, he is horrified to find evidence that the brutal murder depicted in the game actually happened and he is the killer. I don't feel like that's full spoilers because that's literally the log line for the movie, but I really do think this movie is so special. I think it was so unique for the time, and I feel like things like Choose or Die or Bandersnatch even tried to encapsulate this Brainscan feeling that just didn't land in the way that the actual movie does. I think that Brainscan was lightning in a bottle, and a lot of game horror probably is influenced by this. I've mentioned this a million times, let me just digress for a second, but there is a super unique game horror that I love, that I've recommended, that I would love to recommend again, maybe even a double feature with Brainscan, possibly Bitch Ass from 2023. I think it was such a unique spin on the game horror, and it's shot really uniquely, but I think those two would make a great double feature. Let's get back to Brainscan. Initially, this movie focused on a cursed VHS tape instead of the CD-ROM video game. I think that it also kind of brought it into the 90s, into the technology that was emerging in the 90s. I think it was a really smart choice. The Trickster, who is obviously the most memorable thing from the movie, apparently didn't even exist in the original script. By the way we know him, in early versions, the Tormentor was mostly just a voice on a phone. But what we got was the more theatrical Trickster, and I'm really happy that we did, because the face, the characterization, the hair, the piercings, everything about him is so memorable. Allegedly, Edward Furlong was very difficult to work with on set. You didn't hear it from me. It was John Flynn, director. He said that Edward Furlong was just not very agreeable on set for such a young man at the time. Allegedly, he had to smack him awake every morning, so do with that information what you will. If I was getting smacked awake every morning, I would not be performing at peak performance, but that's just me. Maybe I love this movie because of the soundtrack. It's the Primus, the White Zombie, the Butthole Surfers. It's all of the 90s legends that I still listen to this day. My name is literally based on Deadgrl Superstar by Rob Zombie. I personally think the Trickster should have been a larger horror icon than he was. I think this movie, you know, it introduced such a cool concept and we didn't get really any more from it. But like I said, this movie is just like lightning in a bottle. It's such a fun early 90s, just late night gem. Do yourself a favor and do a double feature with Bitch Ass from 2023. I think that one is a fantastic watch. I would give Brainscan a 4 out of 5. I think I did on Letterboxd. I gave it a 4 out of 5. The rewatchability, it's such a good movie. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and do yourself a favor and watch Brainscan. Thanks for checking out all of these sci-fi horrors with me this week. Our next video is a new episode of Side Character Deep Dive, and it corresponds with a movie that has an anniversary at the end of the month. So do with that what you will, and I will see you in the next video. Sayonara, Spooky Fam.